Real van about town, the Toyota passenger van for $85. It's got plenty of space with a rugged frame and suspension that can handle over 1,600 pounds. Whether you need it for family or for your business or to haul around your neighborhood hockey team like I do, the Toyota vans have all it takes. Come see the Toyota vans for $85 at Rudy Luther's Toyota on Highway 12 in Golden Valley. Great game, kids. Now who's buying the pizza?
Yeah!
Republic Airlines knows what everyone in business wants out of life, perks. To get the perks you deserve, fly Republic. Here's a chance to win 2 tickets for the next North Star game against the Chicago Blackhawks on Wednesday. If you can name that former North Star. 854-7074, the number to call. If you'll be the first person to identify him, you win the 2 tickets to the Chicago game on Wednesday. One hint, his nickname was Slippery. 854-7074 is the number to call. And our next telecast here on Spectrum Sports coming up Wednesday when the Chicago Blackhawks make their final regular season appearance. And we will have that for you, at least we hope to, at 7:35. 7:30 is our airtime, and unless we get another blizzard, we'll be on time and on schedule at 7:30 on Wednesday. Earlier, we showed you the Norris and Adams division standings. Let's take a look at the other 2 divisions and see how they stack up. In the Smythe division, first place almost all wrapped up. In fact, the 4 teams in the division right now in the playoffs are pretty much decided. In fact, they are decided. Vancouver is eliminated from first place. Los Angeles, Winnipeg, Calgary, and Edmonton look like they'll be in the playoffs. Vancouver still has an outside chance. The big thing there in the Smythe division, no one wants to finish 4th because then they'd have to finish or play Edmonton in the first round of the playoffs. In the Patrick division, Washington has opened up a little bit larger lead now. They lead Philadelphia by 4 points. The Flyers have lost 3 in a row. The Islanders 70 points and the Rangers 51. Pittsburgh and New Jersey waiting behind the Rangers, hoping for a little bit of a stumble, and perhaps Pittsburgh and New Jersey do indeed have a good shot at getting into the playoffs this year. For the highlights of the first period, let's go over to Wally Shaver.
Well, if penalties are an indication, I'm sure we'll have both coaches in the dressing rooms telling their teams stay away from them, because there was only 2 penalties called in the period. Both teams scored when they had the power play chance to leave us at 1-1. Montreal started things rolling when they got the first goal of the game just over 3 minutes into the contest with Randy Valashek sitting off in the penalty box. A nice poke check back to the point by Mario Tremblay. The Habs set it up, and bang, bang, Mats Naslund nets his 34th goal of the year. Chelios from the point sees him open, sliding the puck across, and is redirected in as Naslund was skating by for his 100th career National Hockey League point. The North Stars, just about 6 minutes later, even things up. Marouk just coming onto the ice, pass it into the slot. Broughton looked like he had a great chance himself, but dished it off as Chelios went sliding by, and Dirk Graham scored his 6th goal as a North Star. Let's take another look from behind the goal. As Marouk at the point sets it up, you see Broughton getting loose right in the slot area, takes a perfect pass. Chelios' dive is off target as Broughton plays it off perfectly for Dirk Graham. And 1-1 is the way the period ended. Although the North Stars having another very close opportunity, Bo Berglund centering it out in front. A quick shot is taken by Gord Shervin. The save by Sotart. Bobby Smith trying to help out his buddy the goalie. Almost knocked it into his own net, but that was the end of that. And the period ended in a 1-1 tie. So Naslund nets his 34th, while Graham, a rookie, gets his 2nd. North Stars having a slight edge on shots. They were led by Dino Cicerelli, Brian Bellows, Gord Shervin, and Steve Payne all had a pair of shots. Meanwhile, Bobby Smith, Mats Naslund, and Chris Nyland each had 2.
You know, Lou Nanne told you in our pregame interview that he was impressed with the way some of the people who started the year in Springfield and have gone back and forth have played for him over the last couple of weeks. I think Dirk Graham may have been the best player on the ice during that first period. He's gotten a couple of good scoring opportunities, and he's got 3 goals in the last 2 games.
Well, unfortunately for Tom McCarthy, he's probably shaking in his boots right now because it's McCarthy that's been on that line for 3 years now with those 2 players. And Dirk Graham has filled in admirably and is picking up his share of goals. He deserves a good shot to stay and take a good look.
Tom McCarthy, by the way, one of the North Stars injured. He is still suffering from double vision. He was involved in that fracas in Detroit a couple of weeks ago, and he has not played since then. So the North Stars do miss him, but Dirk Graham starting to pick up a little bit of the slack. And Randy Valashek has played some outstanding hockey for the North Stars over the past couple of weeks. He may go down as the most improved player on the Minnesota team.
Well, when we talked to him just last game, Dick, he was saying how his confidence was more or less shattered last season because he was called up and down between the minor leagues so often that he didn't know really where he fit in. But he is playing with a lot of poise out there, began the season with the North Stars, went back down to Springfield, but then came up due to injuries. He's been here since, is very good now at playing the body. That might have been a weakness of his before, but he's taking the man out and leading the North Stars defense.
All right, let's go upstairs now to Frank and Fred.
We know a lot of you Twin City viewers are watching tonight's game in the warmth and comfort of your living room. Well, a few thousand here at the Met Center who braved the inclement weather were rewarded, at least some of them were rewarded, with a sort of a mini fan appreciation night. The grand prize being a round-trip airline ticket for two to anywhere. It's not a bad deal.
That's not bad at all. Probably worth them fighting the weather to get out here.
Fred, let's get your impressions of the first period between the North Stars and the Canadians.
Well, you know, I thought it started out as a very, very close checking period, and then it really opened up for a stage there. Teams went end to end. Both goaltenders had to come up with some real key saves, and then it settled down a little bit again, and you know, but a very entertaining period of hockey, 1-1 score, and both goaltenders playing well, good scoring chances at both ends.
A few weeks ago, perhaps even a few days ago, the North Stars would wonder whether they could even skate with the Canadians.
Well, that's very true. You know, they've really had their ups and downs this year, but you know, they're fired up. They're playing very well, and the longer they can keep that tempo high and keep checking and not have any lapses, the better chance they have of staying in the game and beating this Montreal team.
Looks like they're going to get two good, strong games in a row from Gilles Meloche as well.
Well, that's a story in itself. You know, Gilles Meloche has had a very frustrating year. He hasn't been able to play very much for reasons unknown to him and unknown to a lot of people around the team, but he's reacted very well. He came in and played a very good game the other night on very short notice and has come up with some strong plays tonight as well.
Making only his fourth start in the last 20 games. Well, the man Dick Bramer was talking about is Dirk Graham, and he, Fred, you think has a bit of a similar story as Warren Young of Pittsburgh.
Well, that's very true. You know, Warren Young has really given a lot of minor league hockey players a lot of hope. Dirk Graham has had some very good years in the minors, scored 70 goals in the International Hockey League in Toledo, and then last year had 37 goals and 57 assists. So he's proven that he can put the puck in the net, and he's looking for a chance to play regular, and that's what he's getting right now.
Well, here's a man that an award was created for, Bob Gainey.
Well, he's won the Frank Selke Award 4 times, and he's one of the best defensive forwards in the game. He's the captain of this Montreal team and a real leader out there. He's a hard-working guy, and he's a real team guy.
And there's a look at Mr. Meloche, age 34. Getting his goal crease all groomed and ready for our second 20-minute session of hockey.
Well, Meloche always loves to play against Montreal. Montreal's his hometown, and Randy Valachek also coming from Montreal, so I'm sure it's a big night for those two players.
North Stars will begin this period with Scott Bukestad at center. He'll have Steve Payne and Brian Bellows on the wings, and we're underway as Richter flips it over to Giles. 1-1 the score. We're just starting the second period as Sotark leaves it at the side of the net for Peter Svoboda, 19-year-old defenseman, playing it up ice for Gainey. Lead pass a bit far for Garbono. Now Steve Payne will shoot it in. Svoboda, first man of the puck, played it away from Bukestad, then got a return pass. Svoboda is shooting it across, and it's deflected to center ice where Kurt Giles has it for the North Stars. Giles at the red center line will flip it in. Svoboda, first man of the puck, watched by Bukestad, played it away from Payne at center ice where Giles intercepts. He shot it back for Payne, but it's offside. We played just 43 seconds.
Well, Steve Payne had a strong first period. He makes his presence felt in front of that net. He's tough to cover. He's a big, strong guy, and he's scored a number of goals for this North Star team of late. Starting to come on, hopefully getting tuned up for the playoffs.
He's been kidded perhaps too often about that title of Mr. April and just getting strong in that final month of the season.
Well, he takes a little bit of heat over that.
Yes, he sure does. Takes it well, too, pretty well. Dino Cicerelli plays it out at center ice. Fred Lugwood shot it back to the line. Cicerelli lost it to Mondu. Now Cicerelli nearly got a return pass from Rouse. That's Naslin, picks it up for the Canadians. Drives it into the corner of Gordy Roberts. Cross for Bob Rouse. He's bothered by Naslin. Got it to Cicerelli. It went off his stick. Broughton ran a little interference, but the play still broke down. Naslin bothered by Broughton. Flipped it across, and Tremblay was knocked down by Graham. Here's Mondu bringing it in. Mondu kept it right on the line. A shot from Ludwig sailed wide. Rebound picked up by Dirk Graham. He is checked by Naslund. Lost it to Tremblay. Finally, Rouse playing it ahead. Cicerelli to Broughton. Both of these lines are in the last seconds of their shift. They'll be looking to get off the ice soon. Boisvert went after it, but he couldn't handle it. Now Marouk for the North Stars battles for it. Marouk shoots it across, onside. Cicerelli, a slap shot, went high. Steve Payne knocks it down off the dasher. He's checked along the boards by Boisvert. Bobby Smith in the corner, drops it back. Serge Boisvert looks for an open man. He finds Deblois at center ice. He's wrapped up and put down by Valachek, but Smith carries it in. Got it to Boisvert. Canadians changing, and Boisvert's shot is stopped by Melange. Payne playing it ahead for Bo Berglund. He stayed onside, then lost the puck. Payne trailing the play, but he had it knocked away. Kurt Giles goes back for it.
Things very close checking again at this point.
Giles checked by Smith. He was lost it at the line, and he had it knocked off his stick by Lucien Deblois. Deblois shooting it across. Aldrich playing it in. It's deflected in front of the net. Valachek wisely played it up against the boards. Now Steve Payne trying to get around Walter. He does. Hits the Montreal line. Drops it across for Berglund, who tips it to the corner. Payne checked there by Curvers. Centering pass is deflected to Valachek, who kept it in the zone. Now Payne in the corner. Back for Dennis Marouk. Looking for Berglund. Chelios knocked it away, and it's grabbed by Hunter, who played it out at center ice and all the way down. Might be icing if Giles gets there soon, but they've waved it off. Giles trying to get away from Mike McPhee. Solheim couldn't handle it. Hunter was stopped by Melange. The centering pass broken up by Giles. Marouk sweeps it away. Hunter goes after it again. Back to the blue line. Canadians keep it in. Marouk dives to knock it away from Walter. Walter waiting. Watched by Giles now. Flips it in front, and Berglund takes it away. Berglund and Solheim come up ice. Berglund will flip it in for a North Star line change. Sotark sweeps it away from Solheim. Canadians gain control. They bring it to center, where it's intercepted by Roberts, who played it back across for Mandich. Coming up on the 4-minute mark of the period, tied at 1. Mandich for Solheim. Got it to the Montreal line, but it was broken up. Mandich waits for the zone to clear. Tried to drive it in, but he broke his stick. Bob Gainey has it. Now to Chris Nyland. Nyland is stopped, but he flips the puck in deeper, where Roberts ties up with Curvers. And the puck loose in the corner. Acton goes after it. Centering pass by Nyland, and rolls right in front, and it's taken away by Solheim. 3-man North Star break. Shervin knocks it in.
Dan Mandich doing a pretty good job without his stick there and deep in the corner.
Acton looks for Gordy Roberts. The defenseman is in the slot. Now he goes back to the point. Canadians trying to bang it around the boards. Nyland tips it to center. Roberts goes back for it. Very few whistles here in the period, and only 2 minor penalties called in the entire game. Montreal behind their own net lost it as Bukestad got the interception. Bukestad cuts to the middle, left it for Giles. He backhands it to Payne. Centering pass got away from Bukestad. He goes back for it. Now Richter. His pass hit Bukestad, and Mondu got the loose puck. Green played it off the boards a second time to get it to center ice, but it was behind Gainey. He recovered and got it to Tremblay. A drop pass for Mondu. He drove a shot hard and wide. Now Scott Bukestad leads the North Stars, with Bellows trailing. Flips it into the corners. Bellows goes after it. Centering pass is broken up, and he hops off the boards. Now Tremblay has lost his helmet in front of the net. Naslund is tied up by Bellows. Naslund with good puck control kept it out of dangerous territory.
Some heavy hitting out there right now.
Tremblay. 3-man Montreal rush. Tamandu, who flips it in. That's Naslund got away from Bellows. He centered it. It's kicked out by Melange. Ludwig shooting. Knocked down in front. And a bouncing puck, but there'll be a penalty. And we'll tell you about it in a moment. With the score, Minnesota 1, Montreal 1. You're watching Spectrum Sports.
Give me a light. A Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
And I'll have a light. A Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best.
Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
Big Dave Richter in the penalty box for elbowing. He played a very aggressive game here the other night against Detroit, and that's the type of hockey he has to play to be effective. He's a big, strong man and has to make his presence felt in that area.
Montreal goes to their second power play of the night. The face-off, the draw to Curvers, and his shot goes right out of play.
Good reaction by Broughton to get across there and get his stick on that shot by Curvers. Curvers left-handed, playing the offside with Chelios on the power play. Having a good shot from the point, but Neil Broughton reacts well and gets over there and deflects it into the crowd. I think Broughton might have broken his stick on that play, as he over at the bench now getting another one.
Neil Broughton for the North Stars with but 15 goals this year, far below his pace. Point total is just 45.
Bobby Smith out there at center against Broughton.
Roberts goes after it. Rouse bats it to the line. Curvers kept it in for a moment, played it back into the zone. Canadians are still inside, and now once the zone is clear, Deblois flipped it in, but it's cleared all the way down by Dirk Graham.
Good indication of the confidence the coaching staff has in Dirk Graham. He's out there killing the penalty. A very key situation in the hockey game, a 1-1 tie.
There's an interception, or at least a deflection by Broughton. Walter goes back for it and left it for Chelios. Chelios played his college hockey for Wisconsin and starts to bring the power play up ice. Lead pass for Deblois. He's stopped by Rouse. Bukestad knocked it away. It went back to Deblois. Bukestad took it away again. Ahead to Gord Shervin. Former Edmonton Oiler player, stopped at the Canadian line by Chelios. Flipped it ahead for Bukestad. He ran into Deblois. Bukestad trying to keep the play alive. Chelios shooting it behind the net for Curvers. He has a little trouble with it. Shervin is flying.
Gord Shervin really hustling out there, giving Montreal a lot of trouble in their own zone.
Now under a minute on the Canadians' manpower advantage. Chelios shooting it across, finally picked up by Curvers. Curvers lead pass to Mats Naslund. He's watched by Giles, left it at the point for Mondu. Naslund again, high in the slot. A shot by Chelios went wide. Puck comes loose to Pierre Mondu. Half minute on the power play. Svoboda to Naslund, in front for Tremblay.
Great save by Joe Molash.
That was a dandy. Canadians get the puck again. Here's Svoboda, slap shot, that deflects wide. 20 seconds on the power play. Svoboda waiting again. Watched by Bellows, high in the slot, got it to Naslund. He's watched by Giles. Svoboda shoots, deflected off the base of the net. Mats Naslund has it, he lost it. North Stars clear but not out. 5 seconds on the power play, slap shot. Oh, that hit Giles, and play is called as it gets a little rough.
Well, the player's shoving around. I hope Kurt Giles is not hurt. He got that shot high up in the arm area. Bellows on Pierre Mondu right there.
Mondu went after Mandich with a high stick after most of the pushing and shoving had ended.
Kurt Giles coming up with that big block. He went down a little early to block that puck, and he very nearly got hit in the face with it. Good look at Mario Tremblay.
This is North Stars Hockey, live from the Met Center in Bloomington.
We wouldn't have any trouble selling this queen-size sleep sofa for the low price of $499. It's a beauty, contemporary, neat and tailored with durable, easy care Herculon, no trouble at all. But considering that we throw on the matching love seat free, the only thing we're worried about is our parking lot too small. Plus, we have over 30 other very low-priced two-piece groups. We've done this before, and let me tell you from experience, they go fast. So step on it. Come to Slumberland and get a good buy.
Both teams being penalized. Gord Shervin for Minnesota and Mario Tremblay involved in some pushing and shoving there, and they both served their time. Neither team will play a man short as their coincidental minors.
Your second.
2 seconds remain on the Richter penalty. He's out right now as that shot is deflected and a goal.
Well, Larry Robinson with that big shot from the point. Heavy traffic in front of the Montreal net, and those face-offs in your own zone are oh so important. Montreal capitalizing, and Bob Gainey, traffic in front of that net, appears to have deflected this puck in the goal. Nyland gets it back to the point, and Robinson's good shot comes through. Molash appears to have the angle cut down, but it hits Gainey at the far side of the net and goes into the net. Bob Rouse covering Gainey, but just one of those things. Montreal gets a lucky bounce.
Apparently along our line here tonight, we're experiencing some video problems, which we apologize for, and we are working on to correct right now. That is not a power play goal. It came just a couple of seconds after Richter came out of the box. Here's Broughton dropping it back for Rouse. Teams have alternated scoring here with the Canadians leading 2-1. Now Broughton goes after it. It's knocked away. Roberts with a shot that went wide. Ciccarelli reaches for it. Svoboda cleared. Broughton got it loose. Finally, Chris Nyland digs it out. Nyland lost it at center ice. Rouse backhanding it off the boards. Robinson playing it ahead into the zone for Gainey, but it's offside.
Nyland in deep on the play, unable to get out, and Gainey not seeing him put that puck in offside. Ciccarelli's had some good scoring chances the last few games, and the North Stars need to have Ciccarelli scoring if they're going to be the threat that they want to be. Both Ciccarelli and Broughton having a tough time this year. There's Kurt Giles back out there after blocking that shot, so he doesn't appear to be the worse for wear.
Now the draw to the Canadians as Ludwig shoots it in. Malash stops it behind the net. There's Valashek playing it to Giles, now ahead to Bukestad. Lead to Bellows. He's in a little traffic, bumped by McPhee, but he still shoots it in. Sothart leaves it for Green. Rick Green playing it around. Valashek trying to keep the play alive for the North Stars. He bats it behind the net. And again, Green has it. Shooting it around. It deflects over to Bukestad. He centers for Payne. It hit Green. It came right in the goal crease, and Sothart makes a save. Back at center ice, Payne got the loose puck and played it back to Giles. 11 minutes left in the second period. Canadians ahead 2-1. Giles now to Steve Payne. Backhands it to the line. It's deflected in by Bukestad. Green first man to the puck, however. Green trying to play it ahead. He found Walter, who flipped it up for Hunter. Hunter gets it into the North Star zone, and the Canadians change on the fly. Kurt Giles, former All-American at UMD, as is Tom Kurvers. There's a long shot by Berglund. He drove it wide. Canadians clear but not out. Berglund intercepts, flips it behind for Marouk, but Sothart cleared it away, and Marouk knocks Sotart's stick out to the face-off circle. But the Canadians get the puck. They have a 3-on-2 break. Lead pass a bit too far for Deblois. He and Rouse go after it. Both players tie up. The puck comes loose. It's centered in the goal crease, and Malash covers off. For our local systems, you're watching NHL hockey on Spectrum Sports.
Well, a close call right there for the North Stars. That puck comes out of the corner and trickles through the crease. Malash following the play there. The puck hit Gordy Roberts on the skate, and you see Malash trying to get a hold of it with the Canadian player right behind Gord Roberts. Malash able to cover up. Joe Malash, a real veteran goaltender, and he's played some awfully big games for the North Stars over the years.
Well, they have officially credited Larry Robinson with his 11th goal of the year from Carbonneau. We thought perhaps it was Gainey who tipped it in. Robinson from Carbonneau at 7:36, and the Canadians lead 2-1. Rouse got it to Berglund. He tipped it in, but Marouk was a fraction ahead of the play offside. Well, to those of you watching on the USA Network, we apologize for the loss of video. We understand the picture has been restored, and hopefully restored for the rest of the game.
There's one of the good young Montreal forwards, Carbonneau, out there playing against Marouk. Carbonneau going to the bench at this time. Dennis Marouk really fired up out there, knocking the goal stick away from Sothart and stirring things up in the offensive zone.
Well, we're halfway through the period right now, and the North Stars have been outshot 7-1. They haven't been able to generate much offense. They had an 11-8 shot against the Canadians in the first period. Solheim goes after it. It glances off his skate. Naslund playing it behind the net. Svoboda is checked by Marouk and goes down. Solheim got the puck, but then he's hammered against the boards by Naslund. Berglund knocked the man down. Comes away with the puck. Berglund to the blue line for Rouse. Shot broken up. Here comes Naslund on a breakaway. He can fly. Roberts challenging Naslund. Backhand stopped by Malash, and he covers up.
It's still no whistle.
And a little pushing and shoving because the Canadians were just continuing to look for the puck.
It was difficult to hear the whistle. Mario Tremblay and a number of players digging for that puck. Malash looking for it underneath. Marook coming to the aid of his goaltender, as did Bob Rouse and Gord Roberts. But they seem to have things settled down now. What a great save by Jill Malash on Naslund.
You're watching the Minnesota North Stars on Spectrum Sports and the USA Network.
Hi, sport fans. I'm Al Shaver, voice of the North Stars. Now, when the game is over, I can play North Star hockey by dialing this local number, 1-976-1000.
True or false? Bobby Orr holds the record of
Answer 3 questions correctly and win 2 tickets to a North Star home game or merchandise.
Shoots, he scores!
Congratulations, you're a winner at North Star Hockey.
Hey, take it from me, Al Shaver. Tell my North Stars hockey is a lot of fun. Test your skill. Call 1-976-1000 for your opportunity to win.
Well, just as we broke for commercial, Dennis Marouk and Mario Tremblay got into a pushing and shoving match, and as you see, Marouk's been escorted into the players' dressing room.
Well, the referee over at the penalty box handing out the penalties. Both players were chatting as they went toward the benches, and Tremblay appeared to challenge Marouk. Nothing came of it other than some shoving, but some penalties have been handed out. Here's Naslund with that good speed getting in all alone. Gord Roberts really makes a great effort to get back, and Malash comes up with a big save. You see the puck still free. No whistle as yet. Bob Rouse goes down, tries to cover up. Naslund in all alone after blocking that shot by Rouse. Just about gets it underneath the arm of Malash, and everyone covers up. The problem started when there was no whistle blown and people started pushing and shoving.
Marouk, 10-minute misconduct penalties at 10:35.
Penalties to Tremblay and Marouk, 10 minutes each, misconduct penalties, and here's how that started.
See Gord Robertson back in the crease in case that puck does squirt loose, and here's the shoving right there between Marouk and Tremblay. It seemed to have died down. Both players headed to the respective benches, and then it started up again right in front of the Montreal bench, just as we broke to commercial.
And it was that second flurry which resulted in the misconduct penalties to both players, so they'll be gone for the balance of this period and about 35 seconds of the third period.
Well, I have a lot of respect for Mario Tremblay. He's a real competitor. I've played against him a number of years, and boy, he just never quits coming.
2-1 the score. The Canadians leading on goals by Naslund and Robinson. Dirk Graham has the only North Star goal. Here's Richter trying to play it ahead. It's intercepted by the Canadians. A centering pass for Hunter. He spun around and put down. The North Stars get the puck. Now Cicerelli flipping it in. Graham goes after it along with Green. Green gets to the puck. He's checked by Broughton. Broughton bumped up against the boards by Walter, and a loose puck comes free in the corner. Now Hunter slides it across the blue line, and Dirk Graham puts a Canadian player down. That was Svoboda, but no penalty out of that. Dave Richter back for the puck. Richter to center ice, looks for Neil Broughton. Broughton trying to get around Ludwig, and he's tied up. Bobby Smith goes into the corner. Cicerelli finds the loose puck. He's jammed up against the boards. And again, the Canadians gain control. Smith backhands a pass to center. Lead pass intended for Boisvert, but it's intercepted by Roberts. Roberts looks for an open North Star player. Instead, he has to shoot it to center. Mondu, trailing the play, picked it up and flipped it in. Now grabbed by Richter. Richter shooting it around for Graham, but it's intercepted by Smith. He centers it, and Roberts intercepts in the slot. Gordy Roberts behind the North Star net. Well, 5 skaters aside, 8 minutes to go in the second period. Broughton at center ice, flipping it in, and the North Stars change on the go. First man of the puck is Tom Gervers. It is high school hockey for Bloomington Jefferson. Team, of course, is in the Minnesota State Finals, or at least the state tournament this year. For the USA Network, we'll pause. It's Montreal 2, Minnesota 1. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the North Star Hockey Partnership. It's intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the North Star Hockey Partnership is prohibited.
Well, some young fans enjoying this hockey game. It's been an excellent game to watch. Some great intensity by both teams, good checking, and some great scoring opportunities as well.
Right from the face-off, the teams battle for the puck. Kurt Giles has it, flips it in. On the boards it comes, and Sotart leaves it there for Robinson, who plays it ahead. Now Carbonneau's pass is picked up by Nyland, or at least he tried to, but missed. Carbonneau then flips it in. Malash leaves it for Giles, who shoots it around. Kept in at the blue line by Sloboda. Now Giles and Gainey go after it. Bellows got his stick on it, tries to backhand it into the center ice area, but it was intercepted. Now Carbonneau on a backhand, flipped it wide. Payne goes after the rebound. It's knocked away from him. Cleared by Valashek, but not out. Robinson is checked by Bukestad, who flips it across to Bellows. Back to Giles. Now to Bukestad at center. The North Stars are having trouble getting out of their own end. Nyland brings it in. A long shot stopped by Malash, and he plays it away.
Great checking by these Montreal forwards.
Here's Bukestad dropping it back for Giles. Flipped it ahead to Bellows. Hits the Montreal line. Is open. He shoots. It's knocked away by Sotart. Rebound to the Canadiens. Mats Naslund has it. Naslund to center ice with Deblois ahead of him. He flips it in. Deblois and Mondu go after the puck, but Roberts got there first. Mondu knocks it away. Roberts picks it up again. He's checked, but got it to Bellows. Now to Steve Payne. At the Montreal line, he flips it in, and the Stars change on the goal. Acton, Shervin, and Berglund, the forwards, come out. Here's Green behind the net. Green checked by Shervin. Back to the blue line. Here's Roberts shooting it in front for Shervin. A quick shot and a glove save.
Almost every shift on the ice tonight, Gord Shervin has shown that great hustle and desire, doing some excellent forechecking there and forcing the puck to pop loose.
He's going after the game's #1 star for the second time in a row.
He gets a return pass there from Gord Roberts and a good shot on goal. Great work by Gord Shervin.
Shervin came over to the North Stars from the Edmonton Oilers in the trade which sent Mark Napier up to Edmonton. Ron Foyt will be handling this face-off involving Keith Acton and Walter.
Wait. You got to slide back out. Ms. Hunter, please slide out. You're down first. You're down second.
And the draw won by Acton. He got it back to Roberts, but it rolled away from him. Back at center ice. Coming up on the 14-minute mark of the period. Acton was dumped away from the puck. The Canadians come up with it. They can't clear as Shervin broke it up again. Berglund battles for it. Roberts pokes at it. It comes free. A diving play by Mandich. Broke up the rush just long enough to let Gordy Roberts come back for the puck. Roberts trying to get away from the Montreal player. Hunter does, and then shoots it in. Sotart shooting it around. Acton throws a check, and they fire it ahead to Hunter. Mark Hunter, number 20, to the North Star line. Checked by Roberts, and the puck comes free to Bo Berglund. Swedish import played it behind the net. It's swept into the corner where McPhee collides with Dan Mandich, who threw his weight around for the first time tonight. We might see more out of Mandich, who has missed all but one game of the season with a knee injury.
Mandich had a very aggressive shift. He pinched in the Montreal zone and threw a big check just earlier.
And a two-line pass offside at the center ice. For the USA Network, it's the North Stars and the Montreal Canadiens at the Met Center. The North Stars will return to the Met Center Monday, March 18th for a game against the Calgary Flames, and that game is a youth night. All tickets are half price to kids 18 and under. During the intermission, youngsters will compete in the finals of the Maxwell House Coffee Skate, Shoot, and Score contest. In addition, Maxwell House will distribute coffee mugs free to the first 5,000 fans. Tickets for the game are available at the Met Center, Dayton's, and Donaldson's ticket offices.
Well, the North Stars with Dirk Graham, Neil Broughton out there.
5:15 left in the second period. The Canadians leading 2-1 as Carbonneau brings it in, drops it for Nyland, but he couldn't get to it. Broughton poked it free. Cicerelli will shoot it into the zone. Now it's cleared back to the blue line, and Carbonneau has it for Montreal. He plays it at center ice. Richter cuts across. Richter then flips it in, and puck bounces behind the net for Chris Chelios. Chelios shooting it around for Curvers. It got away from him. Curvers, last year's Hobey Baker Award winner, poked it to Carbonneau. Carbonneau in over the line, dropped it back at the blue line. Gainey has it. His shot deflects behind the net. Carbonneau centers it. It hit the base of the net. And Neil Broughton plays it ahead for Dirk Graham. 2-on-2 with Cicerelli. The rush broken up by Chelios. Graham goes after the puck. Bumped Chelios off the puck, then centered it, but Carbonneau was there to intercept. Guy Carbonneau played it out to the blue line. Now a lead pass for Boisvert. He ran into Rouse. Bukestad has it. Scott Bukestad. Long shot, deflects, and it goes off the glass. Bobby Smith and Steve Payne, former line mates here and also at Ottawa, and it was deflected away. Now Randy Valashek ran into the referee Newell, but got it to Steve Payne anyway. Fired it to the blue line for Rouse. A shot deflected wide. Bellows picks it up in the corner. North Stars with a little pressure here. They've only had 3 shots on goal in the period. Bukestad collides with Gainey. Smith has the puck. Sidesteps Bellows. Out of the North Star line with Boisvert. Long shot, pad save. Rebound picked up by Valashek over to Bellows. Brian Bellows to center ice. Hits the Montreal line. Leaves it for Berglund, and a shot that deflects into the corner. That's Naslund, first man to it. Naslund, the leading scorer for the Canadians, carries it to center ice. Watched by Acton. And he shoots it around. Puck bounces away from Deblois, but he got it right back. He centered it. A big save by Meloche as Naslund was 5 feet away.
Point blank shot by Naslund, and Meloche equal to the task.
What a setup by Deblois. No whistle yet as they battle for the puck. It comes free. Berglund throws a check. Mondu knocked it away. Mondu played it to the point. It's intercepted by Bellows. He lost it. Now Berglund has it. Berglund firing it across for Kurt Giles, the defenseman, but it was too far. Kerber spins away from Acton's check and then played the puck across the ice as the Canadians shoot it all the way down. Dave Richter really threw his man down, and there'll be an icing call against Montreal.
Dave Richter throwing a big check out there, much the same type of check that Mandage threw earlier on. They're trying to fire up this North Star team and get back in the game a little more. Richter with that big hit along the boards on Svoboda. Right there, he takes him out pretty effectively and slams him down to the ice. Great save here on an excellent centering pass, behind the back pass from Deblois. Naslund snapped it off right off the pass, but Meloche was able to cover up.
Down.
2.5 minutes roughly to go in the period. Draw back to the blue line for Rouse. He sidesteps McPhee. His shot was broken up by Walder. He backhands it in front for Acton. A shot and a goal.
Keith Acton pretty happy about that, scoring against his old teammates. Excellent backhand shot. Acton talking to Larry Robinson as he goes off the ice.
Nice quarterbacking by Bob Rouse at the point as well.
Bob Rouse gets the puck and fires it towards the net. It hits a stick, goes right on to Keith Acton's stick, and he beats the goaltender Sotard with a good backhand shot. Rouse doing an excellent job to keep that puck in and get it toward the net. And an excellent backhand shot by Keith Acton.
You saw Acton's 15th goal. That puts him just 3 points behind scoring leader Brian Bellows of the North Stars. So we're tied at 2, late in period number 2.
Well, perhaps those big checks fired these North Stars up a little bit.
4 shots on goal and 1 has gone in. And now the North Stars are offside.
Well, Bob Rouse trying a long bomb pass to Dirk Graham cutting across the far blue line, but it just misses. Play brought back. Apparently they touched the puck over the line and it's an offside pass. Here's a look at Keith Acton on the bench.
The only assist on the goal to Bob Rouse. 17:36 is the time. Face off at center ice between Carbonneau and Broughton in the North Stars control. Roberts shooting it over to Rouse. Now to Cicerelli. 3-on-2 at the Canadian line. He flips it in. Green first man to it. He's checked. Broughton goes after the loose puck. Picks it up in the corner. Looks for Cicerelli. Instead he goes to Roberts for the shot. That sails wide. Gainey goes after it, but Rouse kept it in. Broughton spins away, or at least tries to get away from Ludwig. And then the Canadians gain control with Bob Gainey leading the rush up ice. Gainey with a shot that's broken up by Rouse, and the puck apparently has gone out of play.
Puck going off of Bob Rouse's stick. We take a good look at Jill Meloche and Gord Roberts, 2 real strong players for this North Star team and having a big game tonight.
Gordy Roberts will be Wally Shaver's guest coming up at our second intermission. And our flashback tonight features the Montreal Canadiens. We'll pass on a special Spectrum Sports welcome to all of our viewers on the USA Network. especially USA producer Mark Stulberger, who is snowed in Chicago and watching the game tonight. Now in the corner, they jam up for the puck. It's loose in the corner again. A quick centering pass deflected back to the blue line for Chelios. His shot never reached the net. DeBlois pushes one wide, and Bellows picks up the loose puck. Hauls it up ice, flips it over to Steve Payne. Payne is slammed down to the ice by Chelios. The puck comes free to Bellows, who got it back for Payne. Chelios intercepts another pass, then shoots it around looking for Curvers. Curvers, like Giles, All-Americans at University of Minnesota Duluth. Drop pass for DeBlois. His shot hit traffic in front of the net.
Kurt Giles with another big block there.
Now Steve Payne at center. Long shot, glove saved by Sothard. He juggles and then leaves it off. 40 seconds to go in the period. Chelios shooting it over for Curvers. Pass was a little too slow. It's broken up by Acton. Here comes Shervin. Shervin in the corner is checked. He's very resilient. He kicks the puck free. A centering pass is swept away by Curvers.
Great effort by Chelios there to cover him.
Berglund intercepts, and his backhand is steered away by Sothard. Now Shervin works it along the boards. Lets it go. A brilliant stop by Sothard, and the Canadians clear. What a shift by Shervin.
Some great action here at both ends of the rink. Fans really appreciating this game here tonight.
Tell you, it's a small crowd, but they're making a lot of noise for Gord Shervin every time he comes out.
See Bo Berglund in front of the net there. He was open just earlier. Here's Shervin walking in on his forehand, and he cranks off a pretty good shot through traffic. And the goaltender Sothard just able to get his glove on that puck. Shervin working so hard every shift here tonight, and it's really paid off for him. He's had a number of good chances. Excellent one right there.
Shervin playing in his 19th game for the North Stars this year, and he is really blossoming here in the last couple of weeks.
Well, his 19th game, but this is one of the few games that he's seen regular ice time, and I'm glad to see them giving him the opportunity to play regularly because he's worked very hard to earn that right.
From the face-off, Acton plays it to Rouse. His shot with seconds remaining went off the goalpost. It bounced and hit the goalpost, and the period comes to an end.
Wow, another great period as we look at Joe Milosh, who had a number of close chances, as did Sothard. Sothard happy to see the puck hit that goalpost right at the end. Once again, Bob Rouse getting the puck toward the net. Oftentimes, it's not how hard you get it in there, just you get it toward the net. Puck takes a bounce, hits the goalpost, comes out from behind, and Sothard's got to feel pretty lucky about that with only a second or two remaining on the clock. Great period by Gord Shervin.
Well, the North Stars, who were outshot badly for about the first 15 minutes of the period, came back to make it much more interesting and got the game-tying goal with just a couple of minutes remaining. 19-19 are the shots on goal after two periods. For a recap and the start of our intermission, here's Dick Bramer.
Well, Montreal had the better of play through most of that second period, but the North Stars put on some pressure in the final minutes and get the tying goal. Larry Robinson is credited with his 11th goal, although that may be changed. It appeared as if Bob Gainey got the goal for Montreal to give them a 2-1 lead early in the period, but then Keith Acton's 15th of the year at 17:36 has evened it up at 2 apiece after two periods. In our second intermission, we'll show you highlights from the second period here at the Met Center. We'll have that feature, a look back at some of the great players for the Montreal Canadiens in the past. But coming up next, Wally Shaver and Minnesota defenseman Gordy Roberts.
Sally, Bert, you busy tonight? You're a loss. Debbie? Bert? Lori? Bert? Judy? Cindy? Kathy? Buffy?
When you have a lot of local calls to make, it's nice to have a Northwestern Bell card.
Hi, Mom. Bert. Bert.
Your Northwestern Bell card. Use it for local calls, too.
Feel good from your head to your solar plexus. Chalk up a win, no matter what your sex is. Look for the name with the double X's. Hair and skin care from Nexus.
Look for the double X's of Nexus at the Barbers, Glenhaven Square in Minnetonka. And the Barbers, 204 Central in Faribault.
Naturally, with Nexus.
You could be 1985 Spectrum Sports North Stars Fan of the Year. Just vote for your favorite North Star. If your selection is #1 in the balloting, you'll qualify and have a chance to win a trip for 2 via Republic Airlines to the Stanley Cup Finals. All entries qualify for 50 terrific bonus prizes. Send a postcard with your favorite North Star and your name and address to Spectrum Sports, 620 Taft Street Northeast, Minneapolis, Minnesota, 55413. Republic Airlines knows what everyone in business wants out of life: perks. To get the perks you deserve, fly Republic.
America is beginning to work together. This is Howard K. Smith reporting on cooperation between union and management at a major auto plant.
We're about to lose some 1,200 jobs, and we set an objective to bring in business and to replace those jobs.
With their sincerity of bringing us some work in here, we would then look at trying to cooperate.
Today, this plant is flourishing. The U.S. Department of Labor has more examples that show that America works best when we say, let's work together.
It's Montreal 2, Minnesota 2 after 2 periods here from the Met Center. One of the guys who's played really well for Minnesota over the past month or so, Gordy Roberts, is starting to pick up the offensive end of the ice a little bit. And right now he's with Wally Shaver.
Well, Gordy, that last goal by Keith Acton for the North Stars certainly helped turn things a little bit around, and it gives Minnesota a lot of momentum as you get ready for the third.
Yeah, it was nice to see. I'm sure Keith's pretty happy about that, scoring on his little team. But I think it's important for us, the home team, to try and get some life going. We had a bad period, that second period. We didn't get too much offense going. I think that Montreal carried the play a little bit. But hopefully we can, do the job on them in the third period. And we all know that Montreal hopefully won't have their legs left after being an airplane all day. So nice to take advantage of that.
You know, you talk about getting things going. You came out the last 2 games against Detroit, really played a physical brand of hockey. It certainly got the team involved as a whole.
Well, I think that against Detroit was a little bit, we had a bit of a brawl there a couple games ago in Detroit. I think that was a little bit more just trying to even things up a little bit. They had beaten us pretty good the night before, and they brought this rookie up trying to stir up a few things, and we put our Bruise brothers in there, and they did the job on them.
Well, you struggled a little bit in the first half of the season. Was that maybe because of the fact that Craig Hartsburg was out of the lineup, possibly for the year, and you felt you might have had to carry a little bit more of the load?
A little bit. I think, we've all struggled a little bit this year. I think personally we get down a lot in the third period. It's easy to sit back there and just do your job, but that isn't the kind of, defense they want us playing. They want us to get involved, doing a lot of pinching and gambling, and, sometimes it takes a toll on the other end of the rink. But, right now we're starting to play a little bit better. It's been a very tough season. I mean, we're not going to salvage anything out of the season. Our playoffs is our only hope to try and do something, and I think that Chicago proved that last year. They had a tough regular season. They came back in the playoffs. They got Secor, got healthy, and, they took us to 5 games, so hopefully we'll do the same this year with Chicago and St. Louis.
So what do you do at this point then? Just say, hey, forget the first half of the season and just work on the month of March and get ready for the playoffs?
Well, for our confidence, that'd probably be the best thing to do. But, we all know. I mean, we get reminded of it every day. We watch the films, and the papers are pretty tough on us in this town the way we've been playing. They deserve to be. I think that overall we can blame our injuries and so on, but we're the guys that go on the rink every night, and, our consistency has been our biggest problem. We seem to show up about once every 4 or 5 games, and right now we got to put a string together to get our confidence for the playoffs. We can't just get to the playoffs and say, here we are, we're going to do it. Hopefully the month of March will prepare us for that.
Well, you've changed your style, too, from the first half to this half. How have you done that? What have you done differently in your game plan?
I don't know. I think offensively, like I said earlier, you're down, you have to get involved a little bit more. And I got into problems in Hartford trying to do too much out there at times. I think that, I just have to play my, steady game back there and let our forwards do the job. I think that, like I said earlier, when you're down, you have to get involved a little bit more. But, I don't know. The other advantages, we've had a lot of rookie defensemen this year, Rouse, Valaschuk, and guys like Richter now. And we got Manage back in the lineup. So these guys are going to get a lot of experience in the long run. Maybe it'll pay off for us.
Has that been more of a challenge for you this year, being paired up with a lot of the younger guys?
It is a little bit, but I just, go out and do the job, whoever I got to play with. It's nice to get used to a partner out there. I play with Bob Rouse quite a bit this year, but, it is a little bit of a different role. I've kind of been on the other side at Hartford. I was always kind of paired with a veteran. Now, as you get a little bit older, you're kind of the guy that has to do a little bit more teaching and learning back there with the younger guys. But we get Hartford back. They'll definitely solidify our defense quite a bit for us.
Well, the North Stars will want to have a little more hitting as they get going for the third period and keep this game going a little bit more. And we've got a lot of people watching all the way from Nome, Alaska, and even a few down in Florida you know about, eh?
Yeah, say hello to my mom and dad. And didn't Al Trudwig used to do this once at a time?
We'll return for more of our intermission. You're watching the North Stars and the Canadiens on Spectrum Sports.
Rudy Luther's Toyota GMC has a big selection of GMC trucks in the lot right now. GMC gives you lots of options so you can pick the luxury items that you want. Choose four-wheel drive or two-wheel drive. GMC has a truck for almost every trucking need, whether it's hauling cargo, carrying passengers, or pulling trailers. Check them all out at Rudy Luther's Toyota GMC on Highway 12 in Golden Valley. These trucks are built tough, just like us, amen?
They each lead very different lives. Bob's a welder. Carl teaches school. Larry cuts hair. Tim cuts lumber. And they come together 2 days a month and 2 weeks a year. They're a tank crew in the Army National Guard, and America needs more teams just like them. Help keep our country strong as steel. Join Americans at their best.
In the National Guard.
Montreal and Minnesota even up after 2 periods with 20 minutes of exciting hockey left to play here at the Met Center. You know, during our first intermission, Bobby Smith was talking about Guy Lafleur and mentioned him as one of the great legends of the game. Looking down the Montreal career roster, you see more than names. You do see legends. Beliveau, Lafleur, Savards, people like that. Let's take a look and see how great those Montreal teams were and how much success they had against Minnesota.
Has gone to the bench, and an extra man is out there. Beliveau comes to the line. Mahavlich with him and Ferguson. Scores! John Beliveau! John Beliveau, number 4. Watch his drive. Gilly gets the left hand on him, but he can't hold it. He had it and dropped it. 16th of the year. Harris, number 4, spun around by Frank Mahavlich. Here's Beliveau closing in. He scores! John Beliveau getting his second in a row. Beliveau just getting it from Mahavlich, and he works his way in, and in close. He's one of the toughest men in the league. Wide of the mark and Goldsworthy trying to center out in front. As a big M, Frank Mahavlich comes back for the Canadians. Roberto trailing on the play. There's Roberto to Beliveau. Beliveau, they score! But I believe Frank Mahavlich. Bruins in over the line, shooting it back towards goalie, but it's behind him. And here's Beliveau for Montreal. Throwing it to Frank Mahavlich. Mahavlich, he scores! The big M, Frank Mahavlich. On a pass. And he's spun away by Lunani. Back on the point to LaPointe. Over on the other side to Tremblay. He scores! J.C. Tremblay fired it from him. Bobby Sheehan, he can really skate. And he's flying around there skating tonight. Ferguson with the loose puck. Ferguson breaks in, he scores!
Rosie moving in, overskated the puck, and it's picked up by Canadiens. Pass into the center ice area. Here's Backstrom moving in, scores. Sing it out to Williams. Williams out to Grant. Grant moving in, drives a shot. It's blocked by Savard. Savard going down the ice, going in on goal, shoots and scores. behind the net, Gibbs. Lemaire after it. Canadians get it. Centering pass. Out to Savard. He drives a shot. Loose puck. And a goal. Lemaire. Wide open. There was a puck. Face off to the left of Maniago. Knocked into the corner by Williams. Reed after it. Being tied up by Lemaire. Lemaire losing his stick. Centering pass. Poked away. After it is LaPerriere in front. A driving goal. And the Canadians score. Number 25. Loose puck. Battle after it. Banged at. Mitzik gets it. Still a battle after it. Scramble to try to knock it around. And a goal by Cournoyer. They tie it up.
Those highlights from the late 60s and early 70s, and it's easy to see why Montreal has a big edge in the history of this matchup between Montreal and Minnesota. We'll be back with more of our second intermission in just a moment.
For the perfect combination of convenience and good food and drink, it's the Airport Inn in Bloomington. The Que Pasa restaurant has a wide variety of fine Mexican dishes at reasonable prices. Whether you like tacos, enchiladas, or other Mexican favorites, the Que Pasa restaurant at the Airport Inn is for you. It's also the perfect place to go after a hockey game with your friends. The Airport Inn has a variety of specials to quench your thirst. For a perfect night out, or just a couple of hours out on the town, the Airport Inn is for you.
Were you able to name that former North Star? His nickname was Slippery, but he wasn't too slippery. He only scored 1 goal in 29 games. Darryl Sly was our former North Star. Bob Putnam of St. Paul wins the tickets to the Chicago game Wednesday here at the Met Center. And, of course, that's our next telecast. The Norris Division Battle, a final Chicago appearance during the regular season, Wednesday at 7:30. So join us on Spectrum Sports. Larry Robinson was given credit for the second Montreal goal at 7:36 of the second period. It looked as if Bob Gainey may have deflected it in, and some of our viewers were unable to see that, so we're going to take a look at that now.
Well, let's see what happens. It just shows you how important that face-off is when it's in your own zone. Guy Carbonneau winning the draw from Brian Bellows. A shot back in the point. It's blocked, and still trying to see who it went in off of, but Bob Gainey using his experience on getting on the inside of Bob Rose. Keith Acton tying it up for the North Stars late in the period at 17:36. Bob Rose, though, using a great poise along the boards as he had 3 Canadians moving in on him right there, but dished it off to Acton open in the slot, and his backhand shot eluded Sotard and put the North Stars into a 2-2 tie. Acton's 15th of the year following Robinson's 11th. The shots were reversed from the first, and it's 19 even. Gord Shervin had 3 shots for the North Stars. He's had 5 so far in the game.
We're even up after 2 for the exciting third period. Let's go upstairs to Fred Barrett and Frank Mazzacco.
Okay, Dick, thanks very much. Few fans here, but they're trying to get a wave going, and I don't think it's working very well at all. The statistics would lead you to believe that the game is pretty even, although the Canadians had the better of the play for a good part of the second period. However, Fred, I think the North Stars are very much in this one.
Well, the North Stars came back very well. You know, they started hustling, throwing some big hits later on in the period, and then got things going a little bit. One player in particular who played very well in the second period was Gord Shervin. He was hustling, got, as we had heard, 3 shots on goal, but more importantly, he was all over Montreal. Anytime the puck went into the Montreal zone, he was really on top of the play and forechecking with great effort.
What a unique story in Peter Svoboda, Czechoslovakian defector. A real cloak and dagger story as the Canadians hid him in the bushes somewhere until just draft time last June at the Montreal Forum, and they made him the number 5 overall pick.
Well, he's one of those young defensemen that are playing so well for this team. He's only 19 years old. He's got great ability with the puck. He's an excellent skater, and he's adjusted to this game very well for not playing that much hockey other than the experience he had over in Czechoslovakia.
19-19 are the shots. Of the North Stars 19, Gord Shervin has 5 of them. So that indicates how well he's been playing in both the first and the second period. As you look at the 2 goaltenders, Galosh, and there's Doug Sothart getting ready for a big third period coming up here. We're tied at 2 apiece. And it'll be the Neil Broughton line for the North Stars as we get ready to go. He'll face off against Bobby Smith. From the draw, the Canadians control. Svoboda shooting it across. Robinson played it to center. Broughton knocked it back for Kurt Giles, the acting captain of the North Stars, what with the season-long or nearly season-long injury to Craig Hartsburg. Rouse playing it in. Robinson back to Bobby Smith. His pass got away as Neil Broughton had his man tied up on the far side. Now Richter throws it high in the air. Bounces in the Montreal end. Robinson playing it all the way down. There'll be an icing call here in the opening seconds of the third period.
Oh, we see the experience of Larry Robinson, the puck bouncing a little bit and not having anyone in particular to give it to. He's more content to take that icing play and get it down the ice. Things like that are what younger players have to learn to do. Keep yourself out of trouble, and Larry Robinson's just been a great player over the years. Very, very well respected amongst his peers.
Kind of chuckle a little bit when you read reports that he had an off season last year.
Well,
kind of hard to imagine.
He's had so many great years that an awful lot is expected of Larry Robinson, but he's played great hockey for Montreal, and they're proud to have him associated with their organization, I'm sure.
Bellows for the North Stars digging in for this face-off, and now they're in the circle a little bit too soon. Finally, the draw goes behind the Montreal net. There's Bob Gainey, number 23. His pass went off the skate of Bukestad. And the Canadians have a little trouble holding on to the puck. Green has to fire it across. Lead pass is deflected. Nyland went after it, but Payne took it away. Then it's knocked away from him. Montreal brings it in. They look for McPhee, but he had it taken away by Roberts. Now Brian Bellows at center ice, driving it around the boards. Sothart gets the big stick on it. Ludwig played it away, but lost it to Bellows. Now Payne fires a shot wide. Here's Rouse shooting it. That was knocked down by Bukestad, who flips one over the crossbar. Nyland tries to wrap it to center ice, and he does.
A couple of bad angle shots, but the goaltender not having too much time to react.
Rouse with a nice pass to Roberts. Then he got the return and drops it into the corner. Naslund right in front of the net. Bothered by Bukestad, finally played the puck away. Bukestad throwing a check into Carbonneau as the puck comes loose at center ice. Now Kurt Giles over to Valashek. Berglund deflects it to Shervin. Shervin stops, plays it to the point for Valashek. His shot knocked out in front, and the Canadians gain control. Naslund has trouble getting it away from Acton. Giles plays it ahead. Berglund drops it back for Gord Shervin, trying to get around Chelios. He stopped. He hangs onto the puck. He centered it, but it's taken away by Deblois. Deblois shoots it across to Mats Naslund. At the North Star line, he flips it in. Mondu goes after it. Valashek tips it away. Naslund and Acton in the corner. Acton playing it around for Berglund, who clears the zone. It rolls on end into Montreal territory. There is no icing.